Breaking news out of Northwood tonight as several fire departments battle a massive blaze. We'll have a live report coming up. After 4 rounds, we now have a new champion at the Marathon Classic. Joe Nugent has highlights from this year's golf tournament. And the city of Toledo wants control of the Southwick property, and something could happen there by the end of the year.
The answer to treating your dog's fleas and ticks is staring you right in the face. NexGard, from the makers of Frontline Plus. It's the only soft beef-flavored chew that kills both fleas and ticks. Vets recommend it, and dogs, well, they're begging for it. NexGard is for dogs only and hasn't been evaluated for use in pregnant, breeding, or lactating dogs. Reported side effects include vomiting, dry, flaky skin, diarrhea, lethargy, and lack of appetite. Used with caution in dogs with a history of seizures. Recommended by vets, loved by dogs. From the makers of Frontline Plus.
Live from WTVG Toledo, this is 13 ABC Action News.
And we start 13 minutes of nonstop news with breaking news tonight. The Northwood and Lake Township fire departments are battling a massive barn fire. Firefighters say the flames broke out at the corner of East Broadway and Andrus. And 13 ABC's Senna Ora is live there now. Senna, what can you tell us?
Well, Bill, this stretch of Andrus near East Broadway is shut down as crews battle a huge barn fire. It's been burning for more than an hour, and firefighters are still on scene battling some flames. Now, a number of viewers driving along I-75 called in and reported seeing heavy smoke billowing. When Northwood Fire and Lake Township crews arrived, they say the structure was fully engulfed. Now, this barn, we're told, is vacant of any livestock and was used for storage, according to authorities. A business called Harp Contractors is next door, but crews have that area secured with firefighters, so that business is safe. Crews are trying to get the fire under control to keep it from spreading to nearby trees. Now, this location is close to Toledo city limits. It's less than a mile from the East Broadway Elementary School. Again, no injuries have been reported. Firefighters say it's still too early to determine a cause for this fire. Now, we'll continue to monitor this situation and bring you the latest as it develops. Reporting live tonight in Northwood, Senna Ora, 13 ABC Action News.
Well, the players have signed their cards, and the Marathon Classic is now in the books. Even a foggy start couldn't cloud the results of this year's tournament. And 13 ABC's Joe Nugent has more on the new champion tonight. Joe?
Bill, she is 17 years old and now a millionaire. A teenager, a millionaire. Lydia Ko just turned professional within the year. A native of New Zealand, she fires a final round 65, 3 under on the front, 3 under on the back. Several times yesterday, she had looks at birdie, but the difference here, she cashes in 6 birds, 0 bogeys. Lydia was either at the top or near the top all day long, and even though she was really good through 71 holes of this tournament, Ko had to produce some clutch shots here at 18. First, a great approach within just a few feet that set her up for a birdie putt and the eventual win. It is her 4th on tour, which is just remarkable for a teenager. And Lydia, great golfer, great sense of humor as well. Some very interesting information about her $210,000 payday today, and she's going to make you laugh. It's coming up in sports.
All right, thanks, Joe. Now to another big real estate deal for Toledo. Comes on the heels of ProMedica's decision to move downtown. The city of Toledo has made an offer to buy the Southwick Mall site, but Toledo will only take that property if it has a developer or a company in line to build on that property. You've been past there. It's a 58-acre site. It's on Reynolds Road just before you get to Heather Downs. The 2 owners live in Kansas City. They haven't done a thing with that property for years. The Southwick Mall closed back in 2008. The building itself was torn down in 2009. The property has been vacant since then. The land is for sale for just under $73,000 an acre, or for $4.2 million. But Toledo's offer well under that price at just over $3 million for that entire lot.
Look, we have a long way to go, but we know the redevelopment of Southwick would not occur without the city stepping up, showing leadership and saying, okay, we're going to clarify this ownership structure, we're going to seek a good, responsible end user, and we're going to develop that property.
Now, this $3 million offer is contingent on finding a company or a developer for that site within 120 days. If Toledo cannot find an end user during that 4 months, this offer is pulled off the table. No money loss. The only loss would be the loss of opportunity in developing that site, and that could be devastating. But there is new hope now that Toledo is making a move, and it could be the key to revitalizing the Reynolds Road corridor. 13 ABC's Sena Ora wanted to hear what people think about the city stepping up at Southwick.
I think the city should get involved. I think somebody needs to step up and do something with it. It's an eyesore and it's not safe.
News of the city's purchase agreement really has area residents excited.
If the city's the one that's got to take the lead, then go ahead and take the lead. We don't care. We just want the place to be a beautiful area.
The Vaughns have lived a block away from the former mall site for 36 years. With the city paving the way for potential development, possibilities are endless.
Just some fantastic store for us to shop. Again, because Southwick was such a good area for shopping.
Southwick would be nice if they had some kind of a corporate office that would come in there and take that place over.
The Andersons may be interested in moving from its Maumee location, which is not too far from Southwick. In the last several years, Toledo has spent millions upgrading the surrounding area like these islands. The former Clarion Hotel is being torn down, and businesses like the Genesis Village Senior Center have moved in. But Southwick's owners have been unmotivated sellers. Stepping in allows the city to take control and get something built here.
By the city doing this, they're stepping in, they're able to give a stable seller to a potential purchaser. So I think that's a very positive thing. Councilmember Sandy Spang lives and runs a business in South Toledo. She's cautiously optimistic about this type of real estate deal. I think this is an appropriate, somewhat aggressive move on our economic development department, but I think that we're protected because it's an option. It's an option for the city for the next 120 days. So should we not find an end user, we would not need to purchase the property. Sena Ora, 13 ABC Action News.
Sandy Spang says there must be a committed end user for this deal to move forward and that nothing happens without City Council's approval first. All right, let's check in with the weather now. And Ross Ellett, finally a little bit of summer headed this way.
Yeah, finally, it feels like spring has lasted about 4, 5, maybe 6 months now. It's gone on for a long time. We have only had a couple 90-degree days so far for the summer. Well, we're going to add another one coming up later on Tuesday, and tomorrow will be close. Let's take a look at live Doppler 13,000 HD. We are dry right now. We're going to stay that way overnight tonight and for tomorrow, even heading into Tuesday, completely dry here. But temperatures are beginning to warm up, and notice already not quite as cool right now compared to what it was at this time last night. We're still at 72 in Ottawa, 70 for the Flag City, 73 in Fremont, and for the Glass City now down to 65, 64. The coolest spot on the board in Monroe. Now overnight tonight, we're going to drop it off to 61. 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, if you're up early, we're going to have some of those patchy fog conditions here around the area. So you may slow you down a bit on that morning commute. Noon at 81 degrees. Fog is long gone by that point. In fact, really around 8:30 or so, I think we're going to see all that fog mix out of the area. Tomorrow's high 87, lots of sunshine late in the day. We're going to warm it up to 90, 91 or so going into Tuesday. We're going to have also some forecasts on some showers and thunderstorms and big changes towards the later part of the week. Bill?
2 people and 2 dogs were rescued by the Coast Guard in Lake Erie today. The rescue took place on the northeast side of Middle Bass Island after a boat hit some rocks and started taking water. The Coast Guard and a commercial salvage vessel towed that boat to shore. The village of Macomb fixed its water leak, but a boil advisory still in effect. The village administrators telling us that the break drained the entire water tower, but that the leak has been plugged, that the water tower is back online, but if you do live in Macomb Village, continue boiling your tap water. The family of the little girl killed in a fire has decided to accept help from a stranger. Wayne and Tina Carroll had called our newsroom. They wanted to help the Klein family by donating their burial plot at Ottawa Hills Memorial Park to 5-year-old Olivia Klein. Olivia died in a fire a few days ago. And tonight, Tina Carroll told us Olivia's family has accepted the plot. Meanwhile, the family held a benefit at Good Times Restaurant and Bar on Jackman today. That benefit was originally for Olivia's 14-year-old aunt who is suffering from a rare neurological disease. The family collected that money Thursday, but then the next morning, that deadly fire broke out.
All of the food and most of the donations were in her home, so they were lost. But through the community, they have been replaced, and The community has been amazing. We have had such an amazing support from everyone. It's been just incredible.
Well, the money raised will help cover funeral costs for Olivia and the aunt's medical expenses for her rare disease. And the two girls we told you about yesterday who organized a lemonade stand to help that family says they have raised $450 in just one day. They gave that money to the Kleins as well.
They are really a special family, and I hope that they get a lot of things with their new money, and they're really nice people now that I know them, and they deserve this money.
Today's $450 comes on top of the $50 the girls raised Saturday. The search for a missing Ypsilanti man continued today. 52-year-old Brian Martin was last seen in June. Detectives now think that Robert and Desiree Strauss killed Martin in their Toledo apartment. The body has not been found, but a group of people met at a VFW in East Toledo today to search the area for his remains.
We want to put him to rest, and we also need the autopsy done. So we want to bury him properly. We don't want to leave him laying out in the middle of wherever he is.
The group started at the VFW because that's where they believe Martin was murdered. They say they're looking through barns and sheds, empty buildings, and other secluded areas. Meanwhile, one of the murder suspects, Desiree Strauss, now in the Lucas County Jail. Police say she and her husband killed Martin in their Toledo apartment. She is expected to face a judge tomorrow morning. If you go to Detroit for sports and casino fun, there will be a new entertainment district near the new Red Wings hockey arena. The owner of the Wings says the new sports and entertainment district will stretch dozens of blocks along and near Woodward Avenue. That will include Comerica Park, Ford Field, Motor City Casino, and even the famous Fox Theater. The new arena is expected to open in 2017. We have an update now on the plane crash in Ukraine that killed 298 people. The United States says Ukrainian rebels who want closer ties to Russia got help from the Russian military in shooting down that Malaysian flight Thursday. Secretary of State John Kerry says arms and other weapons have flowed to the separatists from Russia, and now U.S. and European leaders are demanding Russian President Vladimir Putin make sure the separatists stay away from the wreckage site so investigators can do their job. 13 Israeli soldiers were killed fighting Hamas militants in Gaza today. That's 18 dead Israelis and now dozens more wounded in the fighting, but Palestinians report at least 65 deaths in that battle among themselves. Israel's prime minister says there is simply no reasoning with Hamas.
These people are the worst terrorists, genocidal terrorists. They call for the destruction of Israel, and they call for the killing of every Jew wherever they can find.
Israel is destroying Hamas rocket launchers and the tunnels that were dug by Islamic militants to sneak into Israel. Meanwhile, Secretary of State John Kerry is heading to Egypt tomorrow. He'll meet with Egyptian officials and push for a ceasefire between Israel and Palestine. Kerry says Israel has a right to defend itself against the rocket attacks from the Gaza Strip. Well, one small step might be the most iconic moment in human history.
This is 13 ABC Action News with Bill Horman. This summer,
I am in control.